Hi, I'm Dalen with Mizu Inc. And today I'll be showing you how to put on a flush lid onto a molded housing. So in this kit, you're going to get a couple items. So we have our riser panel. You get a small, I think it's a 4-foot piece, a little bigger than 4-foot piece, a 24-foot long piece. Obviously your main lid, which is underneath there, some end caps for the lid, and 2 hardware boxes. And one will be our quick attach, which we'll go over kind of towards the end of the video. And in this other one, a couple key items. Your end plates for the zero reveal on either end of the flush lid, or the riser panel, excuse me. The brackets, the clips or the seats for the riser panel to attach to the molded housing. And quite a few of those. These clip into the end plate there. Your hardware kit, obviously. And if you are trying to install this on a concrete cover box, all the steps are relatively the same. The only difference is you'll have these plastic pieces that you'll use that we'll kind of show you here towards the end when we're installing our riser panel. But all the steps are the same, so follow along and you should be able to get it done. This plate is called a riser panel. And so what this is basically the form. It's going to go around the perimeter of the cover box that the lid will sit into. So we got to cut it to length, obviously. So as you can see, there's this nice 90-degree lip right there. That is the inside, the top inside, where the lid will actually sit on it. So we're going to get a couple of these clips. And what these do is they go so opposite of where the lid is going to sit, this inside of the lid. There's that channel right there. I'm only going to put one on there just to help hold it up as I'm trying to screw that in. I'm going to flush up against the encapsulation here. Now we're going to get this guy. Just make sure we're nice and clean. Right out there. Handy dandy pencil. Get our mark. Point. Okay, we'll cut that, and then this attaches to that, and then we'll do the same thing for this side and on the other side. Same idea. Here's 2 self-tappers. Okay. Obviously got 2 holes there. Those are going to go in that circle hole there, that circle hole there. So, and I like to leave them pretty loose. Not loose, but I mean snug. Until I get everything kind of lined up and locked in where it's going to go. So I can still kind of move it around if need be. But I want to make sure we get this as tight as possible. Right there's pretty on the money. Okay, now same thing on the non-motor end side, and once we've done that, we'll do the exact same thing on this back piece with that long 24-foot piece. I'm going to put a bunch of these chairs on the back piece. If you are doing a stone cover box, these have a little break right there. See how it's a little bit thinner? See that in the camera? Mm-hmm. So that will just break off with some pliers. So if you do have a stone cover box, you just break that lid off, and that's the only difference as of this point. So, but if you're doing a stone cover box, it's the same idea. Just do that same idea, and just butt that up on either the inside of that mount, that cover box, that concrete cover box, or whatever. But that's just the edge of it. So, but if you do need to adapt this, those do break off for that reason. So next, we're just going to slide a bunch onto it, have them slide down, and kind of a fun game. See who can slide it down the farthest. Just want to put them on every couple feet, nothing too crazy. Okay, and now it's just going to clip in just like those front pieces. You got to make sure these tabs don't hit any of the rebar ties coming off or your stakes. Now screwing the ends, I want to make sure we square it off as much as possible. If it is a little off, that's okay. With the caps that go on the end of the flush lid, we can kind of hide some of the deviance if the box isn't perfectly square, things like that. So 2 screws. Before I tighten down, I can check and make sure they're square. That's pretty square. And that is, I like that as well. So let's kind of just tuck those down a little bit. And for a little extra support, you can put some screws down in there and there. So we'll go ahead and put those in the same, but we'll do the exact same thing On the other side, attaching all the riser panels to the end plate to make sure it's all square. We've attached the riser panel, done. Next, we're gonna get to these same self-tappers. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put screws down through the bottom of that. There's a little line that you'll see on that riser panel. And we're gonna go every couple feet on this just so this can't kick in on the bottom. So I like to go right here on the end. Lock that in. So now that locked in super tight, it won't go anywhere. All right, so I want to make sure we're going to go down every 2 feet or so, all the way down, all the way around. If you are doing a concrete cover box, when you're screwing that back plate, this is where it gets a little different. And your hardware kit's going to come with these black clips. As you can see on the riser panel, there is a 3-degree tilt, there's a little slant in, because the molded housing has a sloped edge. So if you have a concrete cover box, all you do is you slip that on the back there, and then you put your screws through that. So what that does is it gives you that difference to make sure this is a nice flat edge. So that's the only difference now between a concrete cover box and a molded housing. So this you just installed, it comes in your hardware kit, is a little chair for the lid to sit on this back plate. Just comes with 2 Phillips head screws and 2 washer and 2 nuts. And that just attaches just like that. Now, one of the best features about a flush lid, besides the look in my opinion, is the quick attach feature. So for a CS3000 or an Eclipse system, instead of having to drill a hammer driller into concrete with that, this is a system where the mechanism is bolted into that riser panel that we just installed. So in that hardware kit that came with the lid, it's gonna be all this fun stuff. Don't be intimidated. What you want to do is lay out biggest to smallest, or smallest to biggest. So that one's there, there. The biggest one will go down there. So it'll come with 2 spacer plates, like so. One for the motor side, one for the non-motor inside, and then the matching plate, just like that. Okay, and then some nuts and bolts, different couple kinds of bolts, some washers, things like that. How you know which plate goes where is the 2 smallest ones will go together. So these are for the motor, the non-motor inside, excuse me, and the 2 biggest are for the motor side. So let's go ahead and get those attached. We'll start on the motor side and we'll show you how those go on. So we'll grab the 2 biggest plates. Just like that, and your hardware and your spacer plate. We'll start on the back side. So the biggest piece, it always goes with the pool side, the side away from the pool is the biggest, the next smallest, and the same thing on the non-motor inside. It's the bigger of the 2 goes in the back and the small one goes in the front. So we have the biggest option, the biggest size goes right here, and you're gonna get this little plate, and what this is gonna do is in this top channel here, you're gonna go up and in, just like that. Actually, we'll get this plate, the 2 PEM studs coming into the cover box. Put your thumb behind it, finger behind it, hold it in, and those line up with those 2 holes just like that. And what you're gonna wanna do is get in the hardware kit, got some nuts, and you're not gonna tighten these down all the way, just on there so they're not gonna come off, but still loose enough and we can move it as necessary. Do the exact same thing, inside right in front of you, goes up and in, just like that. Get your plate, just like so. Got distracted. What goes here is these plates. So you can go face up, face down, doesn't matter. I like to go face up, just because that's how I've done it. And line up with those grooves, and line up with these holes back here, just like that. And what that's going to do is now this can't cave in past this, and this is the spacing we'll need for the systems. So if this gets pushed in with concrete, or this gets pushed in with concrete, this will still give us that clearance we need. We'll do the exact same thing on the non-motor inside. The bigger of the 2 options going on the back, the smallest option going on the front. Set the lid on, now we're going to cut it to length. So on that side we have it butt up flush against that riser panel. So on this side we'll make our marks to trim it to length. Typically cut it flush, right, right on there, right? However, these will be installed after the fact, and we need to leave space for that guy there. So We're actually going to cut this about 1/4 inch shy of where our mark is. So I'm going to get my tape in there, burn 1 inch, cut 1/4 inch shy of that, and that is where we will cut it. Make a couple marks across the top. There. Okay, get our skill saw, trim that up. We'll be able to, these just clip right in. So inside there, you got a left and a right. This is the right side, obviously behind the cover box. And the left side, go backwards. And those just clip in just like that. And then hide your cut. However, we are going to take these off until after the concrete is poured, because when the lid needs to stay on for when concrete's being poured, to act as a form to help keep that lid in. And concrete will get on top of it, obviously. So what you want to do is just flip the lid upside down, put it back in, and you're all set. So with these brackets, they're just going to clip into the riser panel. There's a bolt down here to adjust your pitch if necessary. But these just go like this, clip into that top riser panel, or that top lip right there. Set in, set down, just like that. And you have 4 of them, space them out evenly. And then we'll set the lid on, upside down, and we're all set. On. Easiest way to do it is you're gonna get the pool side, this smooth side down first, just like that, kind of at 45. Drop that in, drop the back piece, and once the concrete's been poured, it's gonna have kind of a little, it's gonna be tight. You just walk down the middle, snaps into place. Right now, there's a little bit of a gap there, as you can see. The concrete will push that nice and tight. So, all right, that's how you install a flush lid on a molded housing and concrete cover box. If you have any questions about what we did today, go and call your account representative. Thanks for watching.